future and believe once more in America.
Like every nation, the United States has a right to control who enters our country.
With this order, President Trump is exercising his rightful authority to keep our people safe.
Nobody knew that health care could be so complicated.
Middle-class people, working families are going to be hurt.
Any information that's being leaked out of this administration needs to have a lid put on it.
I want an investigation.
Was in collusion with the Kremlin.
Legitimately raised the question of impeachment.
A day without a woman.
I do plan on not spending any money, not patronizing any grocery stores or restaurants.
The Scott Connor Show on News Talk 550 KTSA and FM 1071.
I don't want to. Seriously, I don't want to talk about guns. I don't want to talk about guns. Fine. All right, listen. I didn't want to do this because it's such a. I don't know. I want to call it a cheap topic, but guns and Texas. That's like saying cowboys and horses. But okay. But my producer's twisting my arm. Like he wants. He. Okay. Yeah. He's twisting my arm. He wants me to. Really? I wish you could see what I see. Like, don't point that finger at me, dude. No, don't point. Really? You're not even doing it right. That's the thing. You're not. I can tell you're not a gun owner. Okay, mangina. You're not a gun owner. I can tell that because you're not even pointing a invisible gun at me. You're using the fingers as a barrel. I could tell a real gun owner when they actually like they pretend point at you, but the fingers around the trigger. Okay, fine. I will do it because it'll just shut you up. All right, so here, okay, fine. I didn't want to do this. I didn't. A Saturday night, I'm talking about guns in Texas. All right, fine. All right. All right, here's the deal. Another friend of mine had literally earlier today I should pull it up. I should pull it up. Said, what is the benefit of owning a gun? Like, what do you get out of it? Like, just post it across their social media today. And I'm like, really? And again, it's one of those liberal handing out money left and right. And, everybody love everybody and nobody does anything wrong until some crazed dude and his buddy try to break into your mobile home while your husband's been deployed overseas and you have your little child, and these crazy yahoos are literally taking a yard lawn chair and breaking through your sliding glass door, and you're on the phone with 911 and you're saying to the operator, I've got a shotgun. I don't want to kill this man. And this perpetrator is coming in to get you. That's why. This is going to be literally, the argument stops right here. Okay? The problem is not guns. The problem is not bullets. All right? I'm fairly wealthy. Okay? I'll put up, If you can, okay, I'll tell you what. All right, let's just make it easy. What's in my pocket? Let me see here. Okay, $210. I'll put up $210, right? If anybody can prove to me that a bullet loaded itself into a firearm and discharged itself without a human being. It's a safe bet. I should have said like 10,000, but I want to be honest. Right, $210 in my pocket. Okay. Oh wait, there's a coin. Okay, I got one of these dollars. See this? I got a dollar coin here. Anyway, teenagers can't break that. Like, what's a dollar coin? So it's not the guns. It's not the bullets. It's the human beings. Now, the reactionary people, like my producer, is saying, we'll take the guns out of everybody's hands and then there'd be no more crime. There will be no. Why? What happened last night in Germany? Huh, Jim? What happened last night in Germany? A guy took an axe. It's not funny, but it kind of is. Not funny. But a guy took an axe and, went into a public place and started slaying people with an axe. Right? We're not talking about a hatchet. An axe. Okay? Are we going to ban axes now? Right? An axe. That just boggles my mind. A guy's wielding an axe. First of all, you can't really swing an axe that fast. Okay? I grew up very country. All right? Every summer we had to split wood. And when we weren't splitting wood, we were baling hay. Okay? That was my childhood. So I know all about swinging an axe. And I'm telling you, I don't know how somebody walked into a crowd. I mean, but it wasn't like he walked in and hit 8 people with one swing. Nah, he's going through the crowd. I got to get a buddy too. He's still on the run. But they're going through the crowd, right, with an axe. So, are we going to ban axes now? I don't know. Okay? The point of the axe story and the point of the bullet being chambered and discharged in a weapon, the common denominator is the human being. So it doesn't matter if it's guns, an axe, a machete, or a slingshot. Right? People are going to do what they're going to do. How do we curb that? Okay. And I'm talking to my Hollywood elite friends right now. Those of you who rallied around, banning weapons, banning bullets, and stood up when Meryl Streep was giving her speech. Don't get me started. So, here it is. Why don't you stop having violent movies? I'll tell you what, I will seriously consider giving up one of my weapons if you do a moratorium on violent movies and games. Ban them. Ban them. It's over here on my left. I can't reach it. It was something like in Jason Bourne. And somebody, I tell you what, 210-599-5555, 210-599-5555. Help me out with this. Okay. Help me out with this because I can't reach it. It's out of my reach. I'm behind the mic. But it was an astronomical number of people that were killed in the movie Jason Bourne and the Bourne series. So here is a guy. And by the way, I kind of worked with Matt Damon's charity, water.org. So it's a wonderful charity. And he's got a heart in the right place. But this taking a gun out of my house, out of my hands, so that I can't protect my family when some yahoo tries to break in and do harm. When some yahoo swinging an axe. Seriously, somebody's down at the Riverwalk swinging an axe. He ain't going to get far in Texas. Amen? Why? Because we're carrying. Okay? It's the mentality. And when you're inundated, when you're soaked, when you're drenched, when you're dipped in violence as a form of entertainment, right? I remember this one fact. Your teenager who's playing Call of Duty kills 48 people an hour? 48 people an hour. Okay, in Call of Duty. And the average teenager plays 18 hours a week. Okay? So somebody do the math on that. 48 times, Chris, do the math on that. 48 times 18. Week after week after 48 times 18 times 300, let's just call it 300. Okay? That's how many graphic first-person shooters that kid is being desensitized to. Because when I was a kid, just the very thought of doing something as heinous as taking another person's life because I'm fat or somebody bullied me. You got bullied, all right, you got bullied, you got beat up, and then you grew up, and then you became Wozniak, right? You became Steve Jobs. Oh, 259,200 deaths. Oh, it's not real. Yeah, it is real. Remember what we talked about last hour? How it's like addiction, and they become desensitized to it. Now that goes over to, it just spills and spills, and it all is, not all, the majority of it stems from or under the flag of entertainment. Right? I like it, I gotta be honest. I guess I don't like violent movies anymore. I really don't. I especially don't like horror movies. Oh, let me get started on that nonsense. Seriously? That's another thing. Of course, that would go under violence. Saw? Ooh, Saw scared me. Yeah, it scared you. Saw 2 and 10 and 19 scared me. And Jason versus Predator and kill and murder and maim. And, I wonder, that's not going to have any effect on my psyche. That's not going to, on a developing mind, desensitize them. What is wrong with, and it can start at home. Well, Dad, Mom, they could do it. Well, you know what? They're not my kid. Well, they're going to do it anyway. I might as well just go ahead and go along with it. Really? Really? That's like saying, my wife's going to cheat on me, so I might as well just go along with it. Really? All right. So, again, is that enough? Is that enough on guns? Did I cover the point? Do you concede? All right. Thumbs up. It's violence that we're soaked in. And that causes a major, rewiring of the brain to where human life and dignity and kindness is completely diluted. All right. I'm Scott Connor at KTSA. 210-599-5555. 210-599-5555. After we come back, what else are you going to pick on me? We'll find out after the break.
Scott Connor into the night on News Talk 550 KTSA and FM 1071.
Walking down the street when out
Where's my harmonica?
I saw a pretty little thing approaching me.
You think I'm joking?
She said, I never seen a man who looks so all alone. Could you use a little company?
Because I can really rock out to this with my harmonica. I'm not joking. I've got it in my man bag. Is it a Merce? It's a satchel. No, seriously. It's a satchel. It's not a Merce. Okay, there is a reason why I played that song. That's the theme song to Lucifer. Look, I told you. All right, don't make that face. You're in the car. You're in the truck. You're in the semi. Right? I'm getting tweets. Nobody wants to. They're scared of me. Like I've scared people off tonight. Like I'm blowing up on Instagram messaging. Oh yeah, what is my Instagram? I didn't even give it out. How'd they find out? Scott Connor Show on Instagram. Yeah, Scott Connor Show on Instagram. Because that's how I roll on KTSA, right? 5:50 a.m. See, I just rolled that in there. Call letters, just rolled it in there, right? Like 210-599-5555. Come on, you wussy. 210-599-5555. Okay. I told you we're going to cover a lot of real estate tonight, and we're going to cover a lot, okay? We're just going bam, bam, bam. And I'm giving you the benefit of my wisdom, okay? So my dad is a genius. You can Google him. He literally is a genius. And as a genius, he's that character on Silicon Valley, the lead dude, he's kind of, right? It's kind of like my dad. If you put Billy Graham in there, right? A little background. I have a long history in Christianity. Christianity. Like I messed that word up. Christianity. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to say this because I'm going to blow. Okay, here's the caveat. All right, if you don't want your faith shaken, you need to plug your ears because I'm gonna share the theory I have, and this makes my dad so angry. Like Okay, this is how it started. So he said to me, I said, hey, listen, I'm going to be on KTSA. And he goes, oh, praise God. I said, okay, yeah, praise God. Yeah. He goes, everything comes in God's timing. And I said, and he goes, well, what is that supposed to mean? I said, well, why is that? Why do you say that? Why do people say that? Everything comes in God's time. I know why they say it, because it's comforting. But really, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Because, as a former apologist for the Christian faith, I can answer all these questions because, I studied for 2 years, right? But in 2002, I had a motorcycle accident where I died and came back, and I have a different view on things. I found that it really just boils down to, we'll get back to the topic, it boils down to love one another. Really, that's it. I don't care, Hindu, Christian, Jew, Muslim, Sikh, right? My Sikh friends in New Mexico, Mormon, Baptist, Southern Baptist, Lutheran, all right? It doesn't matter. It just, or agnostic, or, atheist, or Luciferian. It really boils down to this, that just love one another. But back to the point. So I said, and he goes, he gets all upset with me. What do you mean by that? I said, well, so it's all in God's timing. He goes, yeah. I said, so God's in control. Yeah. So I said, so God, you know the story. God took a child, who had leukemia, someone's daughter. That was God, because that was good. Well, and we're taught that, well, God has a plan because he took the child, then, there's a bigger plan at hand, and okay. I get it. So, this spun him off the rails. So I said, well, then by that rationale, Judas would be in heaven right now. Well, no. I said, well, and also by that rationale, if we always go to Hitler, if Hitler, right, historian's bad guy, if Hitler had prior to dying had repented and and asked Christ to be his Lord and Savior, then he'd be in heaven right now, because technically, God doesn't see sin, right? Like we do. We put categories on sin, like a murder's this, and taking a piece of candy is that. And, we put tiers. We put everything on a tier. One's greater than the other, because that's how we wrap our minds around it. Okay. And, but God, as we understand it, as we've been taught, doesn't see it that way. He looks upon sin as sin. That's it. Sin. Done. So, then also what Hitler had done, and what any other bad guy in history had done, was, because God's in control, was God ordained. Well, no. They had evil in their heart, and that's God uses the evil. I said, well, then God ordained the evil then. Is that correct? It's spinning off the rails. Now, at that point, I should have just backed off. I should have said, all right, Dad, all right. Backed off, been the good son. But no, I had to push the point. And I said, well, then it also goes to Judas, because, there had to be someone that had to betray Christ, right? Someone had to betray Christ. That was prophecy. So since God is the Alpha to the Omega, the beginning to the end, and he sees everything at the same time, so like right now, I'm being born. Right now, I don't know, Mark. Give me a name. I don't know. We're faking the moon landing right now. Everything right now. Jesus is walking on water. It's all happening at the same time in front of God. So he knows Alpha to the Omega, beginning to the end. Therefore, he knows that Judas is going to do this. Therefore, Judas served a point, which was God's plan, and therefore God ordained. And why would Judas, by doing what he was, he wasn't made to do that. Well, how is he not made to do that? Now here comes the twist. And maybe you can answer this for me, because I I kind of came to this conclusion. I mean, you either serve one or the other, light or dark. So serve light, right? But since God is Alpha to the Omega, right, beginning to the end, and he already knows what decisions you're going to make in life. If you're going to make good decisions, if we're talking about Judeo-Christian values or religion, then if he accepts Christ as Savior, then, there you go. Right? You're in heaven. But if you go with that type of rationale, if he already knows that you are not going to make that decision, right? He's going to create you and you're not going to make that decision, then why create you? Right? Think about that. Why would God create an individual just so they could spend eternity, without end, without hope, eternity, right, in hell, right? And there are several different ways you can look at hell, but that's not the point right now. God created a sanctioned being to fail. Why? And that's the question. Because if you follow the rules, that's where that's at. And so the only thing I could come up with, and maybe there's a better answer out there. I'm all about learning, but it's a game. If you go by the Judeo-Christian values, it's a game between Lucifer and God. And Lucifer, shows up to God, and in the case of Job, and says, God says, "Hey, where you been? What you been? Oh, I've been roaming the earth, seeing who I can devour." He goes, "Hey, have you thought about my guy, Job? He's without sin. In fact, he's so without sin, he makes sacrifices for his kids just in case they didn't make the right sacrifices." Now, I'm paraphrasing some of this. I'm not going chapter and verse, but you get the point. And he goes, "Oh, well, I can't touch him because you got a hedge of thorns around him." Well, you go mess with him a little bit. Because he won't curse my name. "You sure?" "Yeah." "Oh, yes, he will." "No, he won't." So he messes with him, doesn't curse his name. So then he comes back and goes, God goes, "See?" Well, Lucifer goes, "Hey, well, maybe if you just take more of that away and let me dump some more heartache on him and kill his family and drop a house, and have the Wicked Witch of the West come in, right? Right? I'm just going to really muck up his day. He'll curse you then." God goes, "Go ahead." Right? And what happens? He doesn't curse him. Then he puts boils on him. And the point of that thing is, here's a guy who was doing everything right, doing everything by the rules, right? Walking with God. And then, these two guys get into this wager, basically. And he goes, "Yeah, go ahead. Oh, but God blessed him 10 times afterward." You know what? I don't want my leg broken just so I can, I don't know. What? I don't want my leg broken so I could just, what? Make $1 million? It's not worth it to me, man. I'm good. Let me just walk without a limp the rest of my life. Anyway, so it's a big game. And I'm not discounting the existence of God, in my opinion, in my reality. I'm not discounting that. Keep in mind, I did die, and in my experience, I was in the presence of God. And there are really no words in the English language, no way that I can share or express the absolute amount of wonderfulness. And that's not even a word that I could use. All right. So I just had to cover that. It just, it was just out there. Anyway. All right. I'm on KTSA, 210-599-5555, 210-599-5555, 550 AM and 107.1 FM. And I'll hit you back after the break.
Scott Connor into the night on News Talk 550 KTSA and FM 107.1.
Wait for it. got the best bumper music. I don't muck around. You ready for it? Everybody! Shake, 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 yeah! Oh, man. Dude, I got a story about Firewoman. Nah, I'm not going to tell a story. Let's just say I met the Firewoman in Houston in the late 80s.
The Firewoman.
Okay, fine. All right. I was going to talk about something else, but all right. This is a true story. In the late 80s, I was running around trying to raise money for Greenpeace. I was I was an artist back then. And I was getting signatures on. I created this new type of artwork that had, I kid you not, and it sold wrapping paper that was crunched up on a big foam core that was covered in lacquer. It was a collage, but it was in the 80s. Nagel was it. It was very Nagel-ish. So I got an idea because Greenpeace was all the rage, and I got an idea that to raise money for Greenpeace, I would create one of my 8-foot by 5-foot pieces of artwork, and I should get all these musicians to sign them. So we were going through. I used to work for a publication called in Houston, Public News, and so some of you guys might remember that little rag that was pretty incredible. But so I got in. I got into Metallica and Elton John and the Cult, right? And so I'm backstage. Right, waiting for the Cult to get off stage, and they left me alone. I'm in the dressing room, and if you guys remember that hat he wore, that black hat with the skull and crossbones, and the hat was there, and I'm looking around going, that's the hat, man, because his video was all the rage on MTV. So I was like, I put the hat on, and I was like, cool, right? And then they're like, I heard the crowd coming, like I took the hat off, and I waited outside the dressing room, and they came in, he kind of breezed past me, and they signed. I got their signature somehow. I forgot how I got their signature on the wrapping paper. But as I'm leaving, this girl comes rushing up to me, dark hair, long, really hot, good-looking girl, and she goes, did you drive here? And I said, yeah. And she goes, I want to go with you. I want to go home with you. And I was like, wait a minute, because I knew that somebody told me she was fire lady when they all came together as an entourage, and I'm like, and now I'm thinking this guy is the Cult guy, like the guy, Firewoman, you're the blame, right? So I'm thinking, he's gonna whoop my ass, right? But she's hot, right? So I'm thinking, hot or ass whooping. Hot or and as I'm making that decision, right, and she's like grabbing my hand and leading me down because back then it wasn't the Astrodome, it was I forgot what it's called, but it was as she's leading me down the corridor underneath the bleachers underneath the stadium seating. So all of a sudden this guy comes running up, and I look back, and it's the dude, right? It's the dude, and I'm thinking, I got ass whooping out of that one, right? Right? It's 50-50. I'm getting, I rolled the dice wrong on that one, okay? And I'm going, here we go. And he comes up, and I forgot what her name was, but he calls out to her, and obviously they got in this huge fight. And she's going to go home with me, and I was better looking then. I had long hair. Oh, I had beautiful locks. I did. I used to French braid my hair. It was thick and gorgeous. Yeah. Thank God for Rogaine. Anyway, so he comes. He's like, I don't know, we'll call her Betty. He goes, hey, Betty. And I'm thinking, here we go. And I saw a man that was crushed. I'll never forget that. Here's this guy on stage singing to tens of thousands of people. He's the #1 video on MTV. He's the hottest thing on the circuit right now. He's singing about Firewoman. I got Firewoman's hand in my hand. I'm leading her down the corridor to take her home, right? And this guy comes up, and he's humbled. He's crushed because why? Because that cheating wench went home with some guy she didn't want to know. That's what's going on there. So, and I felt bad. I was like, seriously, I don't want to be a part of this. I thought that was mature of me at that age. And they made, he looked at me like almost thanked me, like I bowed out because I just like that's just not honorable. So that's the firewoman story. Did I just eat up my segment? Chris, are you there?
Yeah. I think you're to blame.
I am to blame. Wow, that's cheesy. That's the wow. I ate up my. All right. How much time do I got? I got all right. I was going to talk about something else, but let me tell you about a pet peeve of mine. I got a problem with an organization that has become dangerous in our society. They are vicious. They are unrelenting. They are just I don't know. They scare me. And it's the Girl Scouts of America.
I know the feeling.
I'm telling you this why. Why am I telling you this? Because they're cheating us. I'm sorry. I won't buy cookies anymore. I won't. The Thin Mints, first of all, for years. Okay, we talked about addiction to flat screens. Talked about addiction to digital devices, right? For years. The Thin Mints. You waited all year long for the green box and the Thin Mints, right? And oh my God, the Thin Mints are can't get enough. Give me $5. Give me the case. Bring them on over, right? And they would buy cookies, right? Now they gang up on you as you come out of the store, as you come out of the market, wherever you are. They're a little pack of little ganged up little, I don't know, kilt wearing, skirt wearing green. They're vicious and they gang up on you. And the problem is their cookies, they're cheating you. And those who are a little more seasoned, they used to be more cookies. They use the same box, the same size, but there's air in the package. There's air in the now I won't buy in principle. I won't buy their cookies because, they're cheating us on cookies. I know this. I brought it up. Like, oh, well, we took a couple back and it's, no, you're cheating me. I want the full ring, the full rung of cookies. And these vicious, I'm gonna get hate letters. Tongue in cheek, guys. Vicious little, just tribal. Hunting you down, trying to sell you their cheating cookies. Seriously, put more cookies in the package, and I'm a buyer again. But don't bogard me on the cookies. And this is not just them. This is a practice. I went and got Reese's peanut butter cups. Okay, I know. If you love Reese's peanut, how can you not love, right? Chocolate and peanut butter together, right? In an orange package. Seriously. It's just yummy. So I go, hey, I'm going to get like the what is it, like the 6-pack, right? For $1.99, $1.29, whatever it is, you get more. I'm like, okay, I get more. And open up the Reese's peanut butter cups and the package, right, is the same size as it always has been. But I'll be a mofo if they have not cheated you on the size. Chris and Jim, they have not treated me on the size. Seriously, I opened it up and went, what is this? Does no one call anybody on this? Really? Same thing with chips. Oh, we're taking back. I remember when chips and pretzels filled the whole bag. Well, we put extra air in there so they don't get crushed. Really?
Doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. Doesn't work. And did you reduce the price? No, you raised the price because you're cheating us. And it goes right back to that boiling frog thing. Just a little bit at a time. It starts with that mob of adorable little creatures trying to just scam you out of money because they're just buy my cookies and they're waving those delicious Thin Mints in your face and you're like, I don't want to on principle, but and then one goes, yeah. Seriously, mister? Really? Okay. And then I'll tell you something about the Girl Scouts of America. They are not above shaming you. Seriously. You want to talk about public shame and how that's wrong? Girl Scouts of America will shame you if you don't buy their wares. Yeah. See, Jim's nodding.
I think they have a shaming merit badge.
Yeah, it probably has my picture on it. Because the look on my face is like, I give in. And then, And then, of course, we can buy the same Thin Mints at, half the price. That's fine. But it goes to a good cause. But now I'm questioning that good cause because, again, they are a pack of thugs. Thugs, man. And it would not be so bad if the cookies weren't so good. If the cookies were like, shite, right? If they were shizzle. Shizzle's a good thing, right? All right. If they were shite, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But again, they're so delicious, and I look forward to it. And I don't know. I just have to say that. But beware of that tribe of adorable hound dogs. They'll get you. All right. On the other side of this silly break. Oops. Okay, it slipped by. All right, on the other side of this break, another pet peeve, and then, after the top of the hour, okay, I'm going to bend your mind because I've got to talk about flat Earth. There's your plug. There's your tease. I'm not kidding. You can laugh right now. You can just roll your eyes like I did, but I'm going to go through some stuff that's going to make you go, huh? And if it was on Mythbusters, right? If it was on Mythbusters, it would be plausible. All right. Scott Connor, KTSA, 210-599-5555, 210-599-5555, and I'll be right back.
Into the Night with Scott Connor is on now on News Talk 550 KTSA and FM 107.1.
Ready? I'm alone, sitting in my car in traffic. My insurance is going through havoc. Tell them I don't know. I ran out of words. Berlin, man. Who plays this bumper? Me. I play the best music. I remember. Okay. You're saying, hey, Scott Connor on KTSA. Right? You're saying, hey, Scott, why would you be playing Berlin's Metro? There must be a theme. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to try to roll two things into one here, like I do, like the masterful talk show host that I am. This is an octagon of topics that, like you experienced in the first hour, you're like from backpacks and brought all the way around back in. I put it in the backpack, right? You're like, what's in the backpack? Scott Connor's in the backpack. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, all right. So let's talk. We're going to talk about auto insurance and how you don't know everything there is to know, but Uncle Scott knows a little bit more than the average person knows. And I'm going to roll in, wait for it, Gary Johnson, the former presidential candidate and two-term governor of New Mexico, and who should have won the election, right? Anybody that's got a complaint? Seriously. I laughed. Again, auto insurance. Keep that in mind. How is Scott Connor going to turn this into auto insurance? I am. I laughed that night, the elections. I sat there and watched, and I was rolling because the man who did a guest spot, a bit part, right, in Zoolander is now our president, right? A guy who did a bit part in, I'll say it again, you guys don't remember this. Donald Trump, the Mad King, did a bit part in Zoolander. And now he's got his hand on the football. How do you not laugh at this? And it's whose fault? Anyone who did not vote for Gary Johnson. That's right. I'm talking to every one of you. Those of you who were so heads up your asses, did not look at who is truly, honestly, by the numbers, qualified to sit in the Oval Office, and you threw your vote away on the two candidates that, get this, nobody liked. Like, this is the one election where both parties can agree, well, we don't like our guy, but we really hate the other guy. And I say that on purpose because Hillary was not a woman. She ran her campaign like an old white guy, right? Come on, think about it. Hillary was not a man, was not a woman in this campaign. She ran it like an old white guy. She was running it like it was 1992. Like, she was just like, we'll go to the Jews and tell them we love Israel, and then we'll go over here to the Palestinians and we'll tell them we hate it. She was too fat. She did all the time. She was running her campaign like an old white man. Okay, and then, but the people didn't want Trump because he's orange, right? And he's a Yahoo. He's a megalomaniac. And I know this because I helped defeat him when I was on the air in Phoenix, and he came to Phoenix and tried to bully his way, and we defeated him. It wasn't just me, many people, but I understand. And there are plenty of things out there on both sides of the fence that says, hey, Clintons are attached to how many murders and questionable, just tons of bad stuff. Not to mention, Clinton was a rapist. Okay? And Trump is Trump. Okay? No good choices there. Except for one. The third candidate. The only viable candidate was Gary Johnson. Oh, he was a pothead. No, I mean, hey, do you drink beer? You drink a beer? Huh? You like a beer after work? Glass of wine? Yeah? Okay. Smoking a cig? Okay. We all, first of all, he didn't have an addiction. I actually knew Gary Johnson when I lived in New Mexico. And he had an amazing track record. Okay. And he was the only one with real executive experience. Trump didn't have it. The Mad King didn't have it. Hillary, yes, she served as a senator and, she served as secretary, but she had no executive experience. Okay. And the other weirdo, the hippie, what was her name? Who was the hippie? The Green Party. I don't know what, whatever. Don't even talk about her. She's just a hippie. But Johnson, okay, balanced the budget, put our state in the black. Okay. Gave us extra money, fixed the roads, did education, started a whole industry in different areas, invested money, and he left the state in a huge, better state than it was when he found it. And he was a Republican elected twice in a majority Democratic state. What does that tell you? And he made his money the hard way. You know how he made his money? How he made his millions? He was a yard boy. He had a pickup, a lawnmower, a leaf blower, a rake. And he took that and turned it into something else and got a couple more guys, then started doing construction, and then he started building a construction firm, and then that's how he made his millions. He worked for it. Okay? And I can go on how Clinton got hers and how Trump got theirs, but there's no controversy around how Johnson made his. Now, how do I turn it into car insurance? Well, when Gary Johnson was president, I wish. When Gary Johnson was governor, he opened up his office. He opened up the mansion, not the mansion, the Oval, Oval, the Roundhouse. That's what the capital is in New Mexico. He opened it up once a month to anybody who wanted to come talk to the governor. You had to make an appointment, but if you wanted to go talk to him about whatever you want to talk to him about, you can go in and talk to him. Right? Open door. Amazing. And I thought, I had worked in auto insurance as a medical massage therapist. Yeah, I've done a lot of things. And I was wondering why a little old lady who has a vehicle who drives 100 miles a month and a guy like me who has a vehicle and I drive 1,000 miles a month, we pay basically the same amount of money. Or why do I have to pay insurance if I have 2 or 3 vehicles? Why do I have to pay insurance on the vehicles I'm not using? So I came to the former governor and I said, "Hey, listen, I got an idea." And it was like 6 months before he left office. And I said, "I have an idea." Okay. And it's going to create jobs and it's going to cover and insure every driver in New Mexico more or less. Because at the time we had a huge, I'm going to just shoot from the hip here, like 45% uninsured drivers in the state. Like it was astronomical. Right. And so my idea was this. Because your driver's license has a magnetic strip on it, create the technology that when you get your gas, right, you slip your driver's license in there, and everybody's covered because it charges you just a little bit more on your gas. I don't know what like a couple more cents per gallon. But all that extra cents goes into a general pot, and then that money gets bidded out to several insurance companies, not just one or two, but it gets bidded out in blocks, and then everybody who is a New Mexico citizen that has an established residency of X amount of years, right, there's some math to be done there, but they get free liability insurance. Now, if you want collision, right, or you want something more than that, comprehensive, then you have to pay for that. But because you're paying more at the pump, because then you're only paying for the miles that you drive. You see where I'm going with this? Yes, Scott Connor's not so dumb, is he? You pay for the miles. So if I'm driving 1,000 miles, I pay for 1,000 miles worth of insurance through a couple of extra cents at the pump. If the little old lady's only driving 100 miles, you follow my reasoning on this? And now everybody's insured. And now that creates jobs because the insurance companies will have to they'll have to hire more people, open up more offices because of the money that's coming in and going out and handling this. And the people that have that are paying a few more cents at the pump are saving money at home because, again, you have 2 or 3 cars, or you got a kid and he's got a car but he never drives it because he's never home, but you're still paying insurance on that. Why are you doing that? And if you stop carrying insurance on something, then and then you go back to get your insurance a year later. What does the insurance company do? They ding you. Well, you were not insured you weren't insured for 6 months, so we're gonna have to spank you. We're gonna spank you because you decided not to spend money with us and you didn't have coverage that whole time. And if you put it on hold, well, we're gonna spank you again. Just keep paying us money because that's the law. And by the way, I wish I had a little more time. Actually, it's not. Yeah. Mandatory insurance. There's some questionability about that. Yeah. Anyway, so that was how I tied in right now in this segment. I tied in a presidential candidacy, right? The last election, the qualifications of who should have been president, and auto insurance, right? How do I do it? I don't know. All right. Flat Earth when I come back after the top of the hour. It is Scott Conner and KTSA. 210-599-5555. 210-599-5555. I am on 550 AM, 107.1 FM.